Quite often after your first season at a club, it's time for a bit of a rebuild. And as you can see by that, we've got some work to do. And work we did do. With 30 plus going out, we replaced them with 9 brand new players for the squad. Now I showed you most of them last time, but an extra standout signing is this man, Filippo Melangoni. He is far too good for us and spent last season in Serie A with Genoa. A closer look shows we have pushed the boat out, giving him £4,000 a week. And that has put our finances in a bit of a perilous situation. And as you can see, the wage budget, his 4,000 is the one that's tipping us over the edge. But he does take his place in the team alongside our boy Yaya Luati. And you'll also notice we have our new centre-back in Krastev. It's pretty mad to say that we've got a current Bulgarian international playing down in Serie C. He comes in from Fiorentina. Now the squad's more of a manageable size. When you first get to a team and you've got too many players, it gets a bit daunting. And you can see how much I've slimmed down the under-20s and the under-18s. But then, this happened. Rizzo, wanted by a host of teams in Italy. Bids are coming in. I'm not accepting that, no way. So here we are, folks. We're into season number 2. We're going to go with the same formation. And may I add, I am awful at back 3 formations. So the fact we're getting a bit of success with this is a miracle. But a closer look at the team there, you'll notice one big difference. Have you seen it yet? Have you seen it? Maybe this will give you an insight. Suddenly, the financial situation is very good. And that's because we managed to bring in 1 million in transfers out. But it's all from one player. That's right. Rizzo finally got his way and we had to sell him to Serie A Bologna. Now we've got 1 million for him. But he is a chosen one player that has gone. But we've bought ourselves some time for 1 season because we've managed to get a loan back for this season. Now remember the rules, this was always a possibility, and that bottom one there, if clauses are hit or they age out, they must be replaced by youth players from the club. So this now means we have a decision to make to find our next chosen one player, but thankfully we've got to the end of the season to decide it. And we focused on those youth players last time, didn't we? So it turns out that one of them is going to have to slot into the chosen one position, and we'll decide that later on. I'll chuck them on the end of the video. We've got about a clutch of 4 candidates that can be the one to change places, in effect with Rizzo for season 3. But for season 2, you can remain. With that bombshell out the way, it was time for a new season and some new teams in our league. Season preview has us down in 7th, and you'll see the new teams in our league: AC Milan B and Brescia, who are free falling down the leagues. And when you look at the Dream 11, it's pretty much packed with basically those AC Milan and Brescia players, including standouts like Luca Romero, so this is going to be a battle to topple them. But we're making no changes to the tactic, but we do have those alternates that I showed you last time. So the main one is that we've got this alternate there where we push another attacking midfielder up, and then in emergency situations we might jump to that on occasion. As the season got going, we started with an absolute boom, scoring 5 against Trento. New players were settling in well, and Shanetti still looked like he had it at the age of 34. Followed that up with a 0-0 and then another, and if you look at the chances, this is going to be a recurring theme of our early season. Our first big test was against Brescia away from home, and we've passed it with flying colours. It was 2-2, we're probably the better team though, and absolutely dominating ball. We made another late signing in the transfer window as Alessandro Cortinovis came in, released by Atalanta. Against old rivals Padova, we somehow managed to lose from a winning position, conceding in the 90th and 94th minute, and again, look at those match stats. I can feel the frustration building. After a bad Derby Day defeat away to Novara, our start to the season was pretty bad. I was starting to think maybe it was a case of too many transfers in, too many transfers out. Maybe the chemistry was taking a little while to get going. Slight tweaks followed to the tactic, mostly from player instructions, and when we played AC Milan, they seemed to pay it off. Milan should be the best team in this league, and we sliced them up. This led to an uptick in form, getting some wins back, but games like this were just too common. I mean, look at that. 27 shots, 68% possession. Our opposition had 2, and they got a draw. I mean, that is just disgusting. It meant by the 1st of December we were slotted down in 8th position, with Padova absolutely storming clear again. So a sea of inconsistency, and I was conceding too many goals. If I look at it a bit closer, you can see us down in 8th. We've scored 41 times, so we're the top scorers in the league, but we've conceded 26. Now if you compare that to the entirety of last season, where we only conceded 38, but it's the same tactic, you can see the frustrations that I've got. Now I always read the comments, and one comment was really good in that they analysed Pablo Perez probably a bit closer than I did and realised he's probably more of a winger than he is a defender. You can see there his positioning is only 9, his tackling's not great either, And when I'm watching it in matches, a lot of the goals are coming down this side. And if you pair him up with the attacking midfielder, there's going to be gaps down there, isn't there? So it's something I need to look at. I mean, to be fair to him, going forward, he has supplied 5 assists, so he's doing his job that way. But it's maybe on me to maybe ask Luati to be a bit less attacking. Maybe he's getting too far forward and the gaps for Di Marino to deal with are just too much. So time went forward a bit and we were still absolutely dominating matches, but not getting the results I wanted. So I went into the data hub and had a look at team performance and pulled up some key metrics. The first one was our defending performance. As you can see, we're way down here, basically the worst team in terms of blocks and clearances. We make fewer blocks than the average team and fewer clearances. Not good. Then I pulled up defensive efficiency, and again, this was worrying reading. Because despite having quite a quiet defence, meaning we're dominating the matches, shots that the opposition are having are basically going in. Is his head in Bologna already? Then I thought maybe we're not winning the ball back enough. Now, our tackling stats aren't great, but they're not the worst in the league either. But looking at possession won, we are not winning the ball back at a rate that we should be. So for the boys in the middle, I did add tackle harder to both central midfielders. And despite only one defeat in December and January, too many draws, still too inconsistent, which meant with a third of the season to go, we need to ready ourselves for the playoffs because there's no way we're catching Brescia. Comfortably, one of the most frustrating seasons I've had on FM. Now, I'll show you why. We're sitting in 8th, right? But we have only lost 6 matches. But I'm playing all these matches on extended, sometimes in comprehensive, and the amount of chances is ridiculous. And this will show you. This is the league table, but if I go to the XG table, you can see we should be way higher up. We should be challenging in 4th, but we're missing so many chances. We're down in 8th. We should be comfortably getting in the playoffs, but it should be so much better. So I've been trying to make this tactic work because I'm determined to see the season out with 3 at the back. So there's been tweaks to player instructions, mostly to the wing backs and the central midfielders. But we do have a new plan B, which I just brought in the last match, late in the last match, and he completely flipped the match. This match here, we were struggling, losing, and then I flipped it in the 70th minute, and you can see the response. Goals in the 73rd, 88th, and then 2 in injury time, all from a slight change, and here it is. So with this position, when the wing backs don't perform, we struggle down the wide areas. So we brought this in for that match on the 70th minute, and it completely changed the game. Maybe this is something to look at for the rest of the season to experiment, because we're definitely going to be in those dreaded playoffs yet again. As for the future chosen one, it will have to be from those clutch of players last season, because we've had a preview of our next youth intake and it's just a good intake. However, there was some good news as our youngster Pelagate, there he is, managed to score his first goal for the club off the bench at just 16 years of age. He's now 17 and his attributes are starting to climb. Could he be the chosen one player? Need to wash though. So we have that clutch of matches there just to solidify our place in the playoffs. And for that, we might well experiment with this new version of the 3 at the back. So Rizzo's time at the club is coming to an end, so it's decision time on who will be his chosen one's replacement.